you guys, it's me, Gaylyn Lareese, and welcome back to another dance tips video here on my channel. If you watch my videos, then you probably like dance and you're probably trying to pick up choreography. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys some tips to pick up choreography in person and in video. If you have not subscribed, then go ahead and consider doing that. I'm not going to make you, but I promise you're going to want to stick around. So let's go ahead and jump into this video. My first tip for picking up choreography better is something that I've actually mentioned in one of my old videos on auditioning with confidence. So if you have not checked out that video, then go ahead and do that. But I shared that my biggest help with picking up choreography is moving around in the room. If you're the kind of person who always takes class in the same spot in the room, you kind of build a visual memory of what that space looks like, and that's associated to the choreography as you're learning it. And so you may not realize that you're actually learning the choreography based on what you see. But if you move around in the room, you'll find the spaces where you didn't actually know the choreography as much as you thought you would, which will prevent you from messing up when you go into groups and maybe you're standing in a different spot and all of a sudden it's like the choreography just went out of your head. So try moving around the room and see if that helps you really find those spots that you haven't picked up in the choreography yet. My second tip for picking up choreography is mainly for taking in class. So when you are learning choreography in a class setting, chances are the person is breaking it down into different phrases. And so they'll teach one phrase, maybe they'll play some music, let you try it out, and then teach the next phrase. And the tip here is to make sure when they go to teaching the next phrase, that as you're learning it, you're connecting it to the phrase before. So something I found that I have a little bit more trouble with is the transitions between two chunks of choreography. And so if you forget that transition, it can kind of feel like the rest of the choreography just like disappears in your head because you didn't realize what connected it to the first part. You know what I mean? So go ahead and try out as the person is teaching the second phrase, doing the first phrase into the next movement so you can see how they connect. These transitions are also usually points where you can really put your own personality into the movement. So that's also a way that you can tell the difference between professional dancers or dancers who are more experienced versus newer dancers, is you can see them kind of blend their personality into the movement. And I found that I have a better time doing that in those transition periods and sometimes in those different like groove periods. So find those transitions so you can blend different phrases together and also make the movement look more your own. My third tip for picking up choreography is for those of you guys who are learning on video. So I actually like to learn choreography from videos sometimes from people who don't really teach often, and it helps me kind of find their pocket and their style. But obviously it can be harder learning from video. So one thing I've learned that really helps is to look at the choreography more as shapes instead of movements. So look at what the shape is first and then figure out the movement that kind of runs through the rhythm of the music through that shape. For example, if someone is showing really big arms, look at what that shape actually looks like. How straight are their arms? A lot of times you'll find that the movement is a lot bigger than you think it is. It's a lot more full out. So if you're trying to learn their stuff off of video, really make sure that you're seeing how expansive the movement is, how far are their arms, how deep are they going into their different squats and stuff like that, because that's going to make the difference between you looking like you learned it off a video versus looking like you learned it in real life. And then once you've gotten the shapes, then figure out that movement that kind of moves through the shape so it doesn't just look super stagnant and sharp, because that also can screw up learning choreographies when you learned it and you know it looks almost there, but you're missing that extra on it, you know? So make sure you figure out also the movement and how the rhythm of the music moves through those shapes so you don't just look like a stick figure when you dance. My fourth tip for picking up choreography is for learning in person and over video, and that is repetition. Now, obviously, repeating the whole choreography over and over again can be helpful for your brain, but repeating the small details of the movement can also be super helpful. For example, I have a very hard time with arms. Let's say the movement had to go here and back, but I had a hard time picking up the choreography. I would go here and back, here and back, here and back, and I would just keep doing it until I got it. There it is. Until I can feel it in my body and it becomes like muscle memory. So that's the goal with picking up choreography, is you want it to eventually get into your body so that you don't have to think so much about the choreography and you can actually perform. And sometimes it takes doing something a bunch of times to get it right. My fifth tip for picking up choreography mostly applies to in the studio. So when you are learning your choreography, there may be a moment where the teacher actually has you either sit on the side or just watch from the side as they do the choreography. Now, obviously, we love to watch the teacher do their own choreography. They have this like effortless style that they apply to it because it's so deeply in their body. And so we want to just sit there in awe and just like watch them, right? But what you should be doing is not just watching for entertainment, but watching for details, seeing how they are moving through different movements, seeing where they choose to be smooth, seeing what parts they like hit sharply. All of that makes a difference in how the choreography looks put together and is how they kind of want it to look. Not all the time, but a lot of times you can learn a lot just by watching how the teacher chooses to execute the movement. And teachers will also know this. Teachers can notice when people are actually watching to get the details versus when people are just watching for entertainment. So also know that the instructors notice that as well. And not only will that make you a better person who can learn choreography, but it also makes you look more professional. So keep that in mind too. Really focus. We're in class, we're learning. Time to learn. Now, my sixth tip for memorizing and picking up choreography is to give yourself some counts on the parts that you just can't figure out. Sometimes people's ear for music is really different than yours is. And for me, I've found that taking a lot of classes out here, people hear the music so differently. And a lot of times they hear it way differently than I do. So sometimes there are parts that I have to just give a count. Listen to the music, find the beat in the music, and give that sucker a count. And if you need help learning how to find counts in music, let me know down below in the comments, because I'm thinking about doing a video on that, on just how to hear music, how to hear for counts, that kind of stuff. Just because counts is how I grew up learning, I can learn without it, but it does help me every now and then when there's just a part that I can't figure out. And my seventh and final tip for picking up choreography is to practice your focus and facials while you're learning the choreography. So a lot of times when the teacher is teaching, they may not let you know where your focus is supposed to be, or they may, I don't know. But if they don't, decide where you're going to be looking in the room when you're doing certain parts, because that makes a huge difference on how the choreography comes off. And I can say that totally from experience. I grew up doing a lot of ballet where things had, one of 4 spots really where your head would be, and that's it. And if you're learning other styles, that's not the case. Your focus may be directly in camera, it may be over to the side, it may be flat side. So figure out what that is so you can learn how to execute the choreography better and more appealing as you're learning it. Also, if you have astigmatism like me, this might be hard. I've noticed that I have a hard time figuring out focus sometimes because my eyes literally will not focus. Like sometimes I'm dancing so fast that my eyes won't focus. And should I go ahead and get contacts? Maybe that's the solution. I don't know. I just feel weird about poking my eyeball. But until I do, if I even do, I just make it a habit to practice where my eyes are supposed to be at different points so I can know when I go to execute the choreography where the heck I'm looking at. And that is it, you guys. Those are my 7 tips for picking up choreography in person and over video. If you have had some trouble with picking up choreography, hopefully this will help you a little bit. These are things that have helped me a lot because picking up choreography is not my thing. And oh my gosh, I forgot there's an 8th tip that I wanted to share with you guys. The last one, and probably one of the most important, is to build your stamina. If you are tired while you're learning the choreography, you're literally not gonna be able to pick it up. It's gonna be so much harder. So build your stamina, do some cardio, take some classes that are a little bit more hype, a little bit more fast paced to help you pick up that choreography faster and train the breath work so that you can do it easily. But anyway, those are all the tips I have. Let me know down below in the comments if you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to join my dance fam, my internet fam. I post all kinds of things on this channel, stretch videos, dance tips, my choreography. I like to dance. I'll be dancing around here. So I will see you guys in my next video next weekend. Later.